Let me bring it up. Here we go. Do you see it? I don't use this browser. That's why I did it. I just wanted a BS one. Just got out. It's okay. So let's talk classes in Palace of the Dead. I'm going to do 2 of them. I'm going to do first how difficult I think they were. Like the challenge, like what I think is reasonably someone can clear if they want to try and start doing classes. And then I'm going to do a separate one for fun because fun is drastically different. Conjure our beloved. Okay, so for difficulty, I don't need to say anything for this one. Like, sorry, not difficulty. It's how reasonable is it to clear? Because if it was difficulty, this would be S. Conjure is going to be S in another one in a second. So, oh my God, no. For Conjure, this one took me 62 attempts. So this gets a tier all on its own. Now, this is going to get really interesting when we start talking about tanks, because Ross, I think you're a good person to be here about this. How am I going to rate force spin? Because if force spin lowers a lot of placements, then some classes that are otherwise great, like Gladiator, they get knocked down a lot. And Lancer doesn't have to spin 180. So this is where I'm going to be really jaded, and it starts to become, is this super subjective or is there a hint of objectivity to this? Because I think spinning some of these are fine, but it took me a long time to get to that point. Did Conjure take more than, yes. The second longest was Thaumaturge with 13 attempts in Palace. This took 62. Now, I guess I should talk about Conjure first, because I'm probably going to highlight this separately when I'm talking about it. So the reason why I think Conjure is the hardest is purely because the damage is really bad. It becomes the worst in the game once you start having to use your Cure 2s. You need the most help out of Palms outright. You need the most rages. You need the most rezos. You need the most flights. You need the most pickups. Now, you can make plays with them. Like, Conjure is not completely helpless. It can heal itself. But you need things to consistently go your way, at least a little bit, to get further. Like, if you have a really bad 151, 161, you are working from behind, and this does not recover very well. So for that reason alone, just purely I need to pick up the most stuff, I'm going to put this here. Now here is where, how much do you consider spinning 180 bad? Also, hey, Headsy Tails. Because Thaumaturge to some people could be right here, or it could be right here. And I have to decide this now. Because Thaumaturge is a lot better than Conjure until we remember that it has to spin 180 for like a really long time. Now, a Korean deep dungeon runner realize that you only have to spin this for like 30 to 45 seconds, maybe 50, because it can live 3 meteors. I don't actually know what the time is, because while we did discover it can live 3 meteors, I never had a run where that came into play. We did really good on our spin. So with that in mind, I don't think it can be in the same tier as Conjure. I think by default it has to be higher. How did run go? We died 192. We got no abilities, and a course was in the room, so we couldn't kite the mummy long enough, and we just died to a mummy. We technically died to a pox tick, because, yeah. But, if you can spin for 30 to 45 seconds, then this is just better than Conjure, I would think. Like, you need steel. You do not agree already? Yep, and this is why I'm the one making it. Because I do not think in any world Thaumaturge is harder than Conjure. Conjure, like, we're just gonna go off of raw attempts. This is 13 versus 62. That's not even close. And I had next to no experience with spinning 180. I had a lot of experience with spinning non-Behemoth, but Behemoth I learned on Thaumaturge practically. You just have to spin for almost a minute straight. Ross, have you tried spinning Behemoth? I know you really don't like spin, but have you given it like honest attempts, or do you just not? Was it like I don't like spin, so I'm not going to even get to the point of it? Okay. Wasn't Conjure so many attempts because it was the first class you did? Yeah, for sure. So that's another thing. If I did Conjure again, how many attempts would it take me? If I did Thaumaturge again, how many attempts would it take me? I have to consider that. This was my very first class. So I was learning how classes function off of it. I'm going to worry about these two later. I'm going to put this here for now, because once you get past 180, it handles a lot of things better time-wise than Conjure, and I value time. I value time a lot because time is pickups, time is rages, time is rezo, time is pretty much everything. And this is way better about time. Now, let's work on to something a little better. Pugilist. I'm going to make a separate thing for Pugilist. I might change where the tier is. Do I put it in S or A? Here's the problem. I don't like Monk. I don't like Monk's playstyle, but this is literally just Monk. You are not missing nearly any buttons on Pugilist. So I guess it comes down to how hard do you find Monk? So it'd be, so like I'm just going to place these here for a second, because these two are going to be talked about at the top. These two are going to be pretty high up there regardless, because you don't have to spin 180 with either of these. They both do good damage. This does a lot more damage than Arcanist, but it's also squishy in melee with no ranged. I think Arcanist might be the best to me, but we'll see. This is going to be low. This is going to be low off the bat. I need to make more tiers. Wait. Okay. Arcanist #1 is not controversial. I agree personally, and that's probably where I'm going to put it. I just think, like, I realized with Pugilist that it absolutely trucks and keeps pace with time. Fantastic. And if someone is better at melee than they are caster, which I think in the Deep Dungeon community, not many people would rather, well, rather's different. They're usually experienced at that point, but would clear faster on a caster, like, versus a melee job. I think, yeah, I think Arcanist is probably by far the best, because you can kite. Yeah, you can kite. I was dealing with Gloom floors 191 on Arcanist. I do not think I can say the same for Pugilist. Pugilist falls apart once you don't have steel. If you have to fight anything bad that's over, Arcanist can cheese. Yeah, so Sadie, if I do this under the pretense that you know how to spin perfectly, then it's like this. I don't think this can be in the same tier. If you know how to spin perfectly, I think... Sorry, Rogue. Sorry. I feel bad, but you're not with the cool club. They're not actually going here. Let me put it here for now while I figure things out. So... let me put this here. Rogue is very interesting. Rogue is a case of I got super lucky with it. Yeah. I got very lucky with Rogue. Rogue should have taken me a long time. But I think by the time I got to Rogue, I got a lot of experience under my belt. Like, Thaumaturge taught me how to kite. Thaumaturge taught me how to not overextend. And Rogue was a lot of knife kiting. Like, the fact that this thing can't fight a mummy without having to spam its ranged attack for half the fight, this thing cannot be high. This thing is horrible. This thing does tank damage, worse than tank damage. This thing needs a complete overhaul. But I don't think I can put it there because Thaumaturge are spinning for such a long time. You're still spinning for quite a long time on this, but you have like you have like Dollar Tree, bloodbath, so you could probably survive a meteor and maybe get it to like 5% and be able to finish it, maybe. So, plus you have second wind. Yeah. So this has to be higher than Thaumaturge by default. I did Marauder in one try. But it has to spin Behemoth. But even if you aren't good at spinning Behemoth, we were just talking about the Thrill of Battle Hyper Potion strat. Remove food that might make you live a meteor into invoke. Like, this thing has to be really high. The only problem that I have with Marauder is I don't want to separate these two. They function identical. The damage difference between Marauder and Gladiator is not much at all. Defensively, Marauder is better than Gladiator, but tanks are tanks. I was basically pulling on CD with these two on the last two sets. I don't think I can put these two separated. So, also you would be here and you would be here. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt because basically this comes down to, do I count spinning as like a huge drop for difficulty? Because I would rather play these two over Pugilist any day if spinning wasn't a factor. I gotta count. No, I think Ross is right. I gotta count spin a little bit. Because I was more afraid of 180 with these two. A lot of runs are gonna fail on these two. And if somebody asked me to play Warrior 180, I'd be afraid to because of 180s. So I value 180 a lot in terms of difficulty. I don't want to play Bard Palace. Yeah. In that case, these two, I think B might be a good place for them. But Marauder has so much more. The damage isn't much higher, though. And I care about the damage a little bit more about the tankiness, because just off of the base trait, just off of your 20% defensive cooldown and your 30%, that's usually enough. Marauder does handle no items better than Gladiator, though. That's a good point. Let me come back to these two. Archer has a horrible 180. Archer's damage is awful. But Archer is fizz ranged and has an interrupt. And fizz ranged are so powerful in Palace of the Dead. Oh man, 180 sucks. I hate 180 as a fight because 180 bogs down like 60% of this. Let me think how I compare these two. I mean, I don't need to compare these two. You're doing full damage 191. You're doing like 20% of your damage. That's not a question. Lancer isn't bad. Lancer's not bad. I hated on Lancer. I treated Lancer like garbage. I was a huge hater. But it's not terrible. It's the melee experience. If you don't like the melee experience, you're not going to like Lancer. But it does not have to spin 180. And I think because it doesn't have to spin 180, it just sucks, because if you gave me these three jobs again, I would clear these two before Lancer. Well. Thaumaturge is really bad. Thaumaturge is really bad. You know what makes me want to put this here? It's the fact that 160, I had a boss timer with this that was 720. I had a boss that was 720, no lust, strength, steel. I had that same fight and it was 840. Fire 3 is horrible when it doesn't proc. Like, if you don't get any Fire 3 procs, your boss timers go out the window. You have to 2 steal things that could be 1 steal just off of luck. maybe make a separate 180 list. I could do that. And you know how, and you have to spin Behemoth longer than any other class. But you do so much damage once, well, not so much damage, but you do decent damage once you fail the spin. I don't know the 3 meteor thing very well. I don't know how much damage you do within 3 meteor. Because like if Gladiator fails the 180 spin, it's not recovering. You know, that's true. It's not recovering. Marauder does. Wow, I might separate these two then. Because if this fails 180 early, it does not have an invuln. It does not have a way to survive the second meteor. It will just die. It just loses. This has a toolkit for it. I mean, this is 180. Conjure doesn't have... See, I hate this because Conjure thrives on the bosses. I was able to do every single boss except for 190 asterisk, no steal. This Conjure, you're not stressing quite as hard about strength and steal on bosses until you get to 190. This is not a consistent no steal 190 though, so that's not even part of the question. But I think you should redo. Oh my god, you want me to do this another 20 times, Ludi? Is that your trick to get me to play Palace again? I have 2 Heaven on High files set up. I am so ready to do Heaven on High. I am going to redo Conjure Heaven on High, though. I am going to redo that at some point. Conjure will return. I don't like how lucky I got in Heaven on High with this. I mean, you need that luck. Ultimately, what's going to happen is eventually I'll find a run that gets that kind of luck, but that was insanely lucky in Heaven on High. And I want to compare the difficulty of this in Palace and Heaven on High more fairly. I don't think I need to redo it in EO, though. I think the EO experience was quite frank how classes go. You know what I feel bad about? I don't know if Rogue goes here or here for me. I don't know how much worse than everything non-Conjure Thaumaturs it is. How did the run go? We failed 192. We failed 192 because we got no abilities and the course prevented me from kiting, so we died to a mummy. Lancer, Marauder. I want to order these within the tier as well. If you, like, not me, outside of me, if you were to pick a class between Lancer and Marauder, what would you take? Because, like, Marauder is so much better than Lancer at everything until you get to 180. Like, 180 is the only reason I have this second. Marauder, I mean, we saw my palms. My palms were great on the tanks on the last 2 sets, other than Serenity on Gladiator. Like, it destroys the last 2 sets. And it does landmines clean. Oh, it's so stupid. It basically goes down to how hard do you find Warrior 180 versus Melee. Don't some people consider Warrior the best Necro job? No. Like a hard 180, I need to put this first. Some people consider Warrior the best Necro job, and that has a harder 180 than a lot of things. I can't let 180 bring that down. Marauder, I would rather play Marauder over Lancer any day with its kit. Like if I wanted to try and clear with some resemblance of consistency. If you get an unlucky crit on 190 as Lance, you're screwed too. I don't think so. I've gotten crit quite a bit on some of these melee classes. If you are spacing correctly, You should not die to just a crit. Now, if you get crit twice, now we're talking. Now we're in trouble. But I think one crit, I don't think you should ever die because you should always have some mix of Bloodbath or Potion or Second Wind. I think with experience on 190, one crit is not going to do anything. So... in 190, the tanks did it in one steal, which is absurd. Yeah, I think I like Rogue here. In fact, I'm literally going to name it Rogue because Rogue is its own thing. I'm not even going to capitalize it. You know what you did. Yeah, so that was my thought, Velvet. You have Hide and you have extra movement speed, so you can do some things with it. I actually got value out of it 191 plus. Rogue has one of my favorite toolkits, but the damage is out of this world bad, and the defensive, like, how defensive it is also out of this world bad. Bloodbath sucks, but the utility is kind of nice. So I don't want to put it down here. Hide. Yeah, Hide by itself is carrying this. What am I going to label this? I think that's literally how I feel about this. It's like... it's like just meh. Like, they exist. If you're someone who's never done a class before, I totally think you can take Marauder and Lancer and clear it. After, like, you would need some practice with spinning 180 for Marauder's case, but both of them have insane toolkits, and at least with Marauder, you're getting to 180 consistently. Like, you will get there to practice because you were tanky. Like, no items we were handling just fine, so it lets you practice the scary part. No, it's all caps. You're the GOAT. Arcanist is so good. Arcanist is so good. I legitimately think Arcanist is better than some jobs in Palace. I legitimately think Arcanist is better than some jobs in Palace. No joke. And I think if you tried it, you might agree with me. I totally think you can clear Arcanist more than you can clear Astro. Is this it for the first one? Am I really okay with this? I don't think that's crazy at all. Yeah, some people might find it crazy though. It's one of those things you have to try it to form an opinion. It's not bad. The damage is good. The damage is going to keep you on pace with time. You have sleep, which is insane. You can do, and you have caster sleep for landmines. You do not have healer sleep. You have caster sleep. There was on one of my doomed runs, I had a Gloom no items floor 191 plus, and I was actually handling it for a bit. Like, I want to ask you if any other class in here could handle that. Maybe Conjure. Like, kiting is so important at that point. Like, on tanks, you're going to be just taking auto after auto because you have to actually do damage. You have to get close, and your damage is so low that I actually think Arcanist would have a better shot at that. So, that can single pull, yeah, is way better, for sure. And I think that's the problem, is that Conjure cannot reliably single pull. It's basically taking Astro. Conjure is saying, take Astro, remove gravity, remove light speed, remove all of your healing, remove regen. How good do you think Conjure is? That's how good it is. How consistent do you think Astro is without any AoE, any healing? That's why I want to think that Conjure's the hardest, but it was my first. I have seen horrors on that. Thaumaturge just dies to 181 Mimics though. Conjure handles 181 Mimics. Conjure kind of handles 191 Mimics. This might be a playstyle diff. You know what? I'm gonna go back and forth all day with these two. I'm gonna specifically specify these two are not ordered. I think at the end of the day, what's gonna be the hardest to you, like if you're trying to clear all the classes in Palace of the Dead, it's going to be Conjure or Thaumaturge that gives you the most trouble. But if you ask my heart which one would take me longer to clear again, I would say Conjure would take me longer because I know how to spin 180 now. We saw my consistency with this. I think if you know how to spin 180, then Conjure is harder. You just need rages. You need pickups, like an insane amount. Thaumaturge with Steel can put in some work. The age-old... Okay, so I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and then we're going to move on to the... Wait, I want to line it up. It's funny because I know you can download this, so you don't have to do this, but it puts a weird, like, logo. There we go. Hey, good night, Lunar Light. Okay, so we're doing one more now. So I'm going to... Now we're going to do fun. And I'm going to think about lower floors. I'm going to think about higher floors. I'm going to think about streams. Now, Conjure... Fun is a weird... It's more broad than just fun because Conjure really aggravated me, but you're going at the top. I care a lot about you. I would do you. I would play you again. I will play you again very soon. I think Conjure has the perfect mix of a kit to actually do things. Like it has heals. If you get a Mimic, you're not dead. If you get no items, I've gotten through 191 no items. I like it. I love healers. This is subjective to hell, but in my heart, it's objective to me. So you're going at the top, buddy. Lancer, I know you're scared. Lancer, we're going to talk about you soon. Next for fun, it's going to be... Yeah. I thought about this, and I'm like, do I find Arcanist as fun as Conjure? Yeah, I do, actually. It's so fun. I love Arcanist. Yeah. The tragedy is you will quit playing before you reach 161. For what? Oh, Conjure? Yeah, that's true. Climbing Conjure is a nightmare. Climbing most of these are a nightmare, though, so... that's something that I thought Conjure was, like, just the worst at. Ross, climb some of these other classes, it's, like, just miserable. You would think having AoE would help. No. This AoE makes my brain want to melt. It would have just been better to single target half the time. I almost quit on 102. Yep. I agree with you. I'm going to put a little extra priority on streams, though, like the exciting parts, the parts that I look forward to, the going live. And when I stream, when I hit go live, this starts to become annoying. This becomes, I mean, Black Mage Palace is my least favorite combo, so I feel bad for Thaumaturge there. It's getting a little flack for that, but this becomes my least favorite, like, play style. But in terms of fun, well, this is going to be more like how much I want to tuck it into bed, how much I like it. Because Gladiator is going higher than Marauder. I was so excited to climb this. But Marauder is just more fun if you objectively care about having more of a kit. This does nothing that Gladiator doesn't do without having more. The only thing that Gladiator is better at is it has a better damage buff for Rezo. This has the best damage buff for Rezo in the game. 25% damage buff for 20 seconds is huge. That is insane. 25%, you are two-shotting in Rezo. So... let me reorder real quick. Because this is very easy for me so far. Okay, so let's go down now. I think Am I gonna do it? Am I going to do it? Am I going to put you here? I hate melee. I love rogue. I was so excited to climb rogue. I was so hyped to do it. I was sitting there watching Arahi's streams, just like, I had fun climbing it because hide felt so good compared to other classes. Being able to not have to overkill. The extra movement speed felt good. I really had fun with these three. I hated how fast I cleared this. I really enjoyed Archer. This is going up here for sure. This is going in A. I love Archer. Archer was also a lot of fun, and I was upset that I cleared it so fast. In terms of fun, Pugilist is going to be near the bottom. I don't like Monk's playstyle, but Monk is insane. So this is not the difficulty. This is the personal enjoyment. So you're going to be far down here. I'm sorry. Yeah. If you ask me what classes I care about the most, you know what? There's nothing objective about this. This is personal enjoyment, fun. I'm allowed to put Gladiator here. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to put it above Marauder. I had a lot of fun with this class. I streamed it immediately. I guess I did with Marauder too, but that was because it was the last. I like Gladiator a lot. I fell in love with it. I had more fun with Gladiator than I did Marauder, but Marauder is not bad. It was also good. Did I miss it? The run itself, yes. We lost 192, which is really sad. But we got no abilities. Something still feels wrong about this to me, but I haven't worked on these last three. Hey, the Pixel Grimoire, thank you for the follow. What, the blindfolded? Yeah, exactly. This is, I already did the difficulty one for me. I'm doing the fun, excited, how much I enjoyed the experience. Would I do it again? I would do these three again at some point. Conjure, oh, I know I'm going to climb this again in Palace. War would go in F, right? This isn't Warrior though. If this was Warrior, I would make a new tier just for it. It would not be F. F is generous. Thaumaturs, okay, so let me do this first, because Thaumaturs and Lancer got the biggest tilt I've ever seen out of myself on stream. But you know what sucks? You know what really hurts me about the placing Thaumaturs here? I cared about this class. I wanted to see it thrive. I got really emotional when it cleared in Palace. I cared so much for this at the end. I hated it. I hated it so much, and Thaumaturs hated me, but we worked together on some bosses. There were some bosses when the run was doomed, it locked in. It gave me those Fire 3 procs. We kept going. We clutched together. I don't know if I can in good conscience put this as my least favorite. There was some character development going on with this one. I am falling off my chair right now listening to the hell yeah. If it is a terrible take, that just makes it more exciting. That's why we watch things like this. This is why I don't do these things. I don't, by the way, spoilers, this is actually probably gonna rise a bit. I'm having a revelation with this. I enjoy this more than I give it credit for. I hated it. See, the higher I got with this, the less I wanted to play it. Once I got to 181, oh my God. This was the second worst thing for me to play. Second worst because Rogue on the last 2 sets, oh my good God, this class cannot handle anything. Rogue cannot handle jack squat unless you were spinning everything. Berserker, I swear, is my first love. What game is that from? You know, I was really complaining about Pugilist. I wanted to clear that. I did not want to climb. Okay, yeah, 101 plus. 101 plus with this class. I was throwing a fit from all the luring traps I was stepping in. And you can sit here and tell me skill issue. I don't care. Oh my God, I remember how much I was complaining about making sure this cleared immediately. I understand the damage of this thing is incredible. I could not stand the amount of traps I was stepping on the lower floors. I died. I forget if I think it was 111 plus. I died with raising up. Pretty sure Rogue made Sadie quit. You really, Sadie? I don't know if you're still here. Was Rogue what did it? You know what it is? It might partially be Ross, because if you're spinning with Rogue, it's not as exciting. It's just run-of-the-mill melee spin experience, so the low damage is gonna feel worse because you don't have the exciting parts about it, but you have the like clinical. How fast are we doing the floors? What's the kill count? What's your survivability? Just nothing. Like, it's just terrible. If you spin everything, they're all the same. This is just the worst. Like a rock, Chaz, what's up? I was just sitting taking up my file and I have no potions. Gotcha. I cannot be bothered with it. Do you still have the file? That is a good point. Yeah, if you don't want to get potions for it, though. You know, when I sit back for a second and I think about Lancer, the only reason Lancer was so low is because I wanted to play tanks. Because this was the gatekeeper for tanks. And I think if this was my third class I was doing and not my third to last, I would have looked at this an entirely different. Like, you could hear it, how tilted I got from failing Lancer runs because I wanted to play these two. I wanted to feel like I wasn't squishy for a bit. And I think that dropped the experience a lot for me on Lancer. Lancer isn't bad. Lancer has a good damage buff. The damage is quite acceptable. It has a ranged attack, unlike Pugilist. I would rather play Lancer than Pugilist. Like, even if Pugilist is just better. Do you think Pugilist would be way higher if you memorize the traps? Yeah. Yeah, I would. The traps, the pulling experience is what bogs this down. This is just better than a lot of classes. And again, not only does it beat 180, it thrives 180. Lancer, you gotta really pay attention for the 180 push. Pugilist, you get the melee 180 experience. As long as you push like a melee would normally push, you will win on Pugilist. There was no stress. So it doesn't have the 180 thing, but this is about... I hated 180 Lancer. Hold up. I hated 180 Lancer. I hated it's technically possible, but it's close. I only have experience. It also got nerfed in Dawn Trail. I don't know if you've taken it in yet. Because I heard good things from Rarum too. Rarum likes Lancer. When I played this, I had high expectations because I remember other people who played Lancer said good things, and I was let down. I was let down by it. It did not feel good to me. It's not fair though, because if I spin everything on Lancer, I would enjoy it. It would just be passable damage. It would keep up with pace, and you wouldn't take any damage. So this would be great. But you have to learn the melee playstyle when you're fighting everything. The urge to play Marauder 1. Yeah. Well, it was Gladiator. I was more hopeful to play this. That's why this is a tier above Marauder. I straight up just would rather play Gladiator. I like the challenge. The challenge can make it fun to me, and this is more challenging than this slightly because of 180. I'm gonna do something. It would be very different. Palace of the Dead changes a lot of things. Heaven on High tier list is going to be more fun to me because I don't have the 180 curse looming over me. 180 is such a stupid thing that changes how fun jobs are. Lancer is down here right now because 180 exists. Otherwise, I would put it above Pugilist. I really think 180 ruins tier lists. And not just for classes, for jobs. I hate job tier lists in Palace because 180 is such a huge deciding factor for them. Like, are you going to put Bard and Dancer in difficulty as really good? Maybe Ross for when it excels at everything but can struggle 180. It's tough. 180 bogs down some jobs more than it should. Has anyone cleared a Heaven on High melee no jobstone without spinning? Yeah. Oh, Heaven on High. Sorry. I thought you said Palace. I was going to say we had to do it on Lancer. The Korean guy the other Hrothgar dude, doesn't he upload his clears? I remember clicking one of his videos and he was not spinning. He was not spinning mobs on that random video I clicked. So if he did that for Heaven on High, then I would have to see. Does he spin in the Heaven on High VODs? I wonder. Because, spoilers, he's going to get the Omni class clear before me. I think he only has 2 left in Heaven on High. Which is why we'll use that same metric for jobs, which is why no one will do Bard, even though now I think it's not actually that bad. Yeah, I hate it. That's what I was saying. Like, that's the problem with job tier lists in Palace. It's why Heaven on Highs is going to be a lot more fair. Ironically, when we consider Palace the more fair deep dungeon, I think Heaven on High tier list is going to be more fair to the classes. Oh yeah, Sig. Okay, I understand what you might say about Sig's godlike palm drops for like Rogue and such, but like Sig did not spin at all. You gotta give it to Sig. You have to. Who has to spin when you pick up a Magicite or Petri every floor? Yep. Meanwhile, on my Thaumaturge, I'm pretty sure even on my Thaumaturge clear, I didn't get overly lucky. I'd have to check again. But this took me 14 attempts in Heaven on High, more than it took me in Palace. I legitimately think if 180 didn't exist, Thaumaturge is harder in Heaven on High outright. It cannot do landmines to save time. It is ass. Thaumaturge feels like frustrating. But Heaven on High is Heaven on High, so you can have that run where you just pick up like 3 wipes every set. It is looming, right? So I don't think that's what happened for me to clear Thaumaturge, but I'd have to check back. It did for Conjure. Conjure, I'm pretty sure I picked up 3 to 4 wipes every single set. I'm pretty sure I picked up at least 3 to 4 every single set in Heaven on High, last 3 sets. So that definitely happened with Conjure. Gonna start off right and attempt. No, okay, so I'm gonna spoil. I have Rogue for Sunday. I wanted to do something really hard that I'm really bad at. Melee Heaven on High is gonna be hilarious because I'm gonna get destroyed. I'm horrible at Melee Heaven on High, really bad. I wanted something fun and hard. I'm gonna save Conjure for, I want experience. I want experience with Heaven on High autos and such before I start Conjure again. So it'll be Rogue Sunday. I already have the file set up. Anyways, See, Archer is difficult because 180 is such a fear. It like sparks a fear response in my brain. But let's say I fail 180. I'm so excited to climb this again. It's so much fun. Phys range playstyle, so great. I don't know why Lancer doesn't have an AoE. That's so stupid that it doesn't. You know what? I think I'm gonna do something crazy, I think. I think this suffers from first attempt clear syndrome. I think if you gave me 5 attempts with both of these, I would take either, potentially. I think this suffers from having a really rough early climb into me tilted out of my mind and not wanting to do this again. I think if you gave me 5 attempts, the actual damage this thing does, the fact that it can handle no items just off of damage, I think I would give this more credit than it deserves. Or sorry, I would give it more credit than I am currently. I don't think I can put Pugilist. Like, I think the fun would increase with this over time. What are all these symbols? You start the game as one of these, except for this. You're not allowed to start the game as this. We're doing fun. We already did difficult. I don't think Arcanist would be on the same tier as these if it was any other tier list. I don't like that these 3 are up here, by the way. I don't feel the same about these 3. These 3 are fun in different ways. I feel like one of them needs to drop, but I'm not sure which. I'm almost done. Don't worry, I'll raid soon. We're almost done with this. I just don't feel happy with it yet. I did like this more than this. I had so much fun wanting to, like, I was upset. I was upset in Heaven on High and Palace of the Dead when I cleared it. I wasn't upset with the Heaven on High clear. Wait till we get the tier list in Archer. Oh boy. Oh boy. That was a crazy Archer Heaven. My Archer Heaven on High has got to be one of the craziest runs I've ever had in my life. This class, I had some of the best clips ever with those Archer Heaven on High runs. They were known to go crazy. It was always topsy-turvy with that class. Yes, McCard, exactly. So enjoyment, enjoyment, enjoyment. I'm gonna remove this. I think these are the only tiers that matter to me right now. I don't think any of these are bad enough to be well below each other. So it's gonna be these 5. Wait. What do I name these two? That would be funny to have these texts and just CD. That's disrespectful. That's nasty. Oh, that's rude. I think I feel pretty good about this. I could be considered to do Pugilist again. You know what? I think this is fair. I am not doing Thaumaturge's Palace again. I am not doing Lancer Palace again. I would consider every other class again. Yeah, these two deserve to be at the bottom because these are the only two classes I am not touching again in Palace. As much as I felt character development for Thaumaturs, if you ask me, hey, can you do it? I didn't watch the clear. Can you do it again? No, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I think Lancer got unfairly treated, but I still would not climb it again. It does nothing that excites me compared to the other ones. Like, it's not bad enough to be hilarious like Rogue, and it's not good enough to truck through floors like Pugilist in terms of damage. This is peak mediocre. This is like, why are you here? Get out of my class. I'm sending you to the principal's office. You're horrible. You have no purpose here. Every other class has something I enjoy about it or care about. You, maybe I do put you in a separate tier. Like, the hate for Lancer's coming back to me. I don't like how mediocre it is. It's like lower end mediocre. Nothing about it excites me. I like the tankiness of Marauder. That felt really nice. It was able to handle things pretty well. I love, this was like the Rogue situation where it's like bad enough in damage to be really funny, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, Lancer PPL. Lancer, you are on thin ice. I'm about to lower you real quick. Archer is so fun. Like, I love this. This is like, if you want to learn to spin 180, climb this, because at least you don't have to deal with Pox. The damage is really bad, kind of like Rogue, but it actually got better in Dawn Trail. It can AoE. This is actually, is this the best AoE class in the game? I think it is, because it has that one move from Bard, and the AoE potency is okay. Plus it has the Fizz range damage buff added onto it from traits. This is the best AoE job. So you can force some time save if you want while kiting. There's a lot of potential with Archer. In fact, I kind of regret where I put it in the first tier list because I realized this could be unexplored. No, I don't hate Marauder. Warrior does not affect Marauder's placement. I just didn't find it as fun. It's just better than Gladiator in every way. But it's like, it reaches that like mediocre point where it's like, okay, well, I really like how tanky you are, and that's why you're not lower. Like Lancer, you do something that I like. I like how tanky it is. It's kind of neat. But if I want to play the worst tank, I'm playing this. This is the comedy. This is the whatever. So that's why you're a tier below. These are very special to me. This one is special to me. This one is, I would legitimately recommend everyone try this. And this is hilarious. This is so funny how bad it is. This is peak awful in like every way. I think I'm done. We're good. This is the list. There we go. Heaven on High is going to be a lot more